All right. We're going to be talking today about principle number 1. There is no neutrality in the universe, and how that feeds into us having a magnetic way of speaking. When you are talking to people right now, if you're struggling with feeling like your voice doesn't matter or feeling like you aren't making an impact that you'd really like to, remember this. If you just do this, when you're speaking, there are going to be, I'm going to get to my new workbook, by the way, but there are 3 things that you can do when you are speaking to people, especially if during this difficult time that many of us are having, you keep this mindset. It's not really about the words, which I will help you with as well, but it's about walking in with number 1. Let me see if I have the right. I was writing down my notes. I'm going to use these. You have to write, first of all, you have to remember there's no neutrality in the universe. I'm going to use my written notes. What that really means is right now, a lot of people are trying to not choose sides and not talk politics during this difficult time. Don't do that. If you want to be magnetic, you have to have substance for people to gravitate towards. And the catch is, my goal is not to change your mind, or my goal is not to even listen to you as much as it is to love you. Because during this political season where a lot of people are kind of waiting for other people to come around so that they can say nasty things to them, if your intention when you speak to them is to understand where they're coming from, whatever side you're on, if they are on the opposite side, these people that you're dreading seeing over Thanksgiving dinner, and they could be workmates or whomever they may be, if you're dreading seeing people and it makes you nervous, you will not have a magnetic personality or any type of aura that is appealing to people at all. But if your intention is, when you walk into that situation, not to listen to you, for them to listen to you, not to change minds, but to simply love them because they're innocent as you are. And if you believe, no, they've gone crazy and they bought into this other, BS, that's when they need you the most. So don't abandon them when they need you the most. You wouldn't want people to do that to you, would you? So number 1, have the right mindset. Walk in there wanting to love people. Number 2, if you are, let's say, an introvert, or maybe you might be on the spectrum, before you go into a situation where you believe that you may be nervous and therefore lose your words, try box breathing. Box breathing is when you, for example, breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and hold it for 4 counts. That is one, what would you call that? That is one, I'll call it a, I don't even know what I'll call it. That's 1 round. So it's like this. Although I did that backwards. I would want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. But you breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and then hold it again. Hold for a count of 4. That is 1 round. If you do 8 rounds of that before you walk in, it is amazing. I saw that on YouTube. I wish I could remember who I saw that, who I saw teaching that. I don't remember. But if you do box breathing, 8 rounds of it before you walk into a situation, that chemically changes you so that you won't be as physically nervous as you might be if you did not do that. Also, in terms of body language, when you walk into a situation, if you are going to be standing there, remember, plant your feet on the ground. Not only does it center you physically more, but where your feet point does show where you want to be. Watch people when they go out on dates together and watch where their feet go. It's hysterical. But if I walk into a situation, I want to look like I want to be there. Hopefully you want to be there. So make sure to plant both of your feet on the ground. And if you're somebody who finds it difficult to know what to do with your hands, remember what I like to do and what always looks good is if you lace your fingers together. That'll work for if you're at a table, if you want to put your hands down on the table, if you're standing up and you just kind of you can put your hands like this in front of you and lace them as you listen to people. Also, that sets you up for the steeple. So while you're speaking, if you ever want to punctuate something physically, as you say it, if you go like that and then put your fingers back together, no one will notice if as you're speaking, if you come to a point where you think, if you forget nothing else, or if you remember nothing else, I want you to remember specifically this. And then you keep talking. As you do that, people will, I don't know exactly why, but I do know how to do it. When you do that, people will listen to And remember what you say as you do the steeple mixed with the karate chop. I don't know why. But in terms of body language, if you have your feet planted on the ground towards the person, you've done your breathing, you know what to do with your hands, you have your shoulders back and your chin up. If you behave physically like the person that you want to be, meaning if you want to be more confident, physically behave like it, and all of a sudden you start to be more confident, because that's your body and your mind are connected. And so if your body tells your mind something, it's just like if your mind tells your body something. There's a two-way street going on there. So physically prepare yourself. Number two, oh, that was number 1 and 2, box breathing and your posture check. And number 3, ask for a clearing. When you ask for a clearing, what you're really doing is you're saying to the universe, to your inner self, to God, to the whatever it is that you talk to when nobody's around. And you want to ask for a clearing. What that means is, think of it as a rice bowl in your head. We all have this rice bowl in our head full of rice, and a lot of the times that rice is pretty stale. I can't ask for more rice to go in my rice bowl without clearing the rice that's in there out of there. And you want to do that. I believe what so many of us will find helpful. If you're here, you're going to find this helpful. What I used to do, now it just comes more naturally. But what I used to do when I would give keynotes, for example, I'm so nervous when I give keynotes. If you're a nervous speaker, just so you know, that'll really never go away, because what it means is you're aware of the gravity of the situation and the impact that you could possibly have on the people to whom you're going to be speaking. That said, I mean, if Barbara Streisand can't get over her nerves, I'm not going to try, because she's had the best vocal coaches in the world. But what I do know is this: if you have a belief system and you believe in the Holy Spirit or Buddha or Ra or whatever you believe, the universe, the power of love. I happen to believe in love. So before I speak, you have to, if this is a public event, you have to take a couple of minutes before you speak, whether it's a presentation in front of one person or 100 people, it's the same thing. Take a moment out to ask whatever that power is, please. Not take the rice, because you'll just go back to your seat and your food will be gone. But ask that power, please take the thoughts from my brain. Not just tell me what to say, or tell me, help me look at this differently. No, take my eyes, take the thoughts from my brain and replace them with something else. Replace them with yours. Replace them with what they need to hear. Take these words. What I always say is, take the words that I had planned. I prepare. If it's a public thing, of course, you want to prepare as much as you can. But once you're about to speak, you should know your material, or you shouldn't speak. So if you know your material before you speak, just say something like, I have this plan. I'm trying to force these people into hearing what I believe they need to hear, but they and you know better. So why don't you just take the thoughts from my brain and help me replace those with what they need to hear that will make a difference in their life and bless them. If you do that, you will pass out at how easily the words will come and how impactful they will be on the people to whom you say them. So ask for clearing, watch your posture and your breathing. Then when you say that something, then when it's time for you to talk, whether it is with somebody at work or whether it's somebody at the holiday table that you have been dreading seeing, maybe it's a cousin or a nephew, something like that. These are the specific things I recommend doing to be magnetic. Remember that magnetic people aren't doing things on purpose so much as they're doing things automatically. I don't want to say naturally, because many of these things aren't natural to do, but they become automatic when you make them automatic. And it's not about learning things, it's about unlearning. No matter what your style is, if you are more of a introvert, I have a new course coming up with these types of things. I'm going to show you the workbook from it in a moment, but no matter what your style is, when you learn how to communicate more effectively, what I will tell you is, it's not about learning specific strategies so much as it is about unlearning the thought process that is keeping us stuck to begin with. That said, I want to, when I'm listening to somebody, this is what's going to make me appear to be magnetic naturally. As I'm listening, I'm going in with the intention of just being loving. That's it. And looking for points of agreement, because that is going to be actually one of the most mindful, kind things, compassionate things that I can do is if somebody and I are coming together and I know that this is probably going to be a contentious situation, they do too. Just imagine if instead of it being any type of difficult situation or toxic situation, you just turn that around and decided, you know what, I'm gonna get to know them better because one of us here has been fajoned, I'll tell you that. I just don't know if it's you or me. When you're fajoned, something has caused you to see things that are not there and you are not seeing what's right in front of you because of a traumatic event that happened that you are afraid of reliving. So instead of having to relive that traumatic event, you avoid recognizing who you really are. And so we kind of play it safe. And that's called the fajon. Or in the United States, it's called high school. If you have been fajoned, you're not seeing things correctly. So, and if the person to whom you are speaking you believe has gone crazy or seeing things incorrectly, then love them. Get to know them. That's the best thing you could do. Be the person that you would like them to be in terms of a compassionate, loving communicator. So that said, I want to find at least 3 points of agreement before I, if you're going to, tell you anything. But what I mean by that is if I'm, let's say, going to discuss politics over the holiday dinner, which you might want to do for fun, because if your attitude is, I just want to love this person and learn about them, there will be nothing wrong with that conversation. So let's say that I'm listening to somebody, and this is a new thing for me, and it's difficult for me to get past what I have brought with me, which is why I'm talking about I need to unlearn things more than I need to learn things. I want to use the phrase, I agree with you, or I agree with that at least 3 times before I introduce something that is not necessarily me pointing out a point of agreement. Okay. So if I want to tell you something such as, Mary, have you considered XYZ? Have you considered the way this person does that? Have you considered that there's an alternative way to do that? Have you considered alternate ways of thinking? Before I say that, I have to at least agree with them 3 times. That will increase the odds that they will at least be open to hearing what I'm saying. And if I'm not trying to prove something, which I recommend doing, I recommend not trying to prove anything ever, because if you just go around listening to people and validating them, which you do by saying, I agree, or you're right. The more you can say, you're right. You're right. I agree with that. Of course. If you just keep saying that to people, because remember, we are not here to teach other people lessons. We're here to learn lessons. And if I can learn about the people with whom I am here to commune, or the people with whom I am communing, and just leave it at that. I want to learn more about you. I want to validate you as a human being. You never know the last time they were validated or told that they were right. If you're the one who does that, they will feel so drawn to you and they will believe you are brilliant. And then when the time comes, if you feel as though it's appropriate to introduce a new way of thinking for them, you can do that later. But if you want to be magnetic, remember, if you want to be argumentative or teach people lessons or tell people how wrong they are, that is the opposite of magnetic. And you want to ask, while we are loving on people and getting to know them, ask clarifying questions. If you find something that somebody says outrageous, or if you're having a regular conversation and all of a sudden you reach a point where you think, hey, I want to let you know I don't agree with that. Ask a clarifying question, which sounds like this. When you say this, do you mean to say that? Hey, John, I have to stop you for 1 second. When you say that I keep getting my things late, or I keep turning in my work late, do you mean to say that you keep turning in your work late and you just don't know where the breakdown is occurring? Because I can help you find it. It's not me. When you're talking to people at work, at home, whatever, remember that when people are speaking something other than loving words, what that really is a call back to love. And they're saying to you, help me, please help me. I'm so lost. I don't even know what I'm here to do anymore. I don't even know who I am or what I'm here to do because I'm speaking words that are not reflecting the truth of who I am if they're not loving. And so I'm going to help you find those words that are loving, help you back, to home. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I know, baby. And when you say, John, when you say XYZ, if you're being, let's say, thrown under the bus, this is, by the way, a great thing to say if people do try to tarnish your reputation or blame things on you at work in a public forum. If John were to say, Yeah, well, before we leave the meeting, I just wanted to say, thanks, Dan. I lost the Jones account this week, and maybe you'll learn soon how to get your work done on time. Okay, goodbye. And they try to ditch out before you have had a chance to defend yourself. I was just talking with a client about this. Defensive talk is going to sabotage your success every single time. If you are accused of things, if you are called to task, anytime you find yourself in a position where you are going to defend yourself, or what you think of defending yourself, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because remember, we only defend against what we believe to be vulnerable. And whether people know that consciously or not, we know that subconsciously. And that's how bullies sniff out their victims. You can find weaknesses just by waiting until people start to defend something. That's their weakness. So if I were to be called out in front of a group of people and somebody were to tell me that I am at fault for losing the Jones account, and I think, oh gosh, I have to respond to that because I don't want whomever to believe that I'm incompetent and therefore not want to work with me, and that could affect my career under normal circumstances. And you shouldn't have to work too long to not have to worry about that stuff if you're dedicated to whatever it is that you're doing. But if I do find myself in that position, you can use a clarifying question. Excuse me, before we go, John, when you say that I should soon learn how to get my work done on time, it sounds like what you're saying is that I got that work. Excuse me. I got distracted by Buddy. He's sick. John, when you say that hopefully someday I'll learn how to get my work done on time, it sounds to me like what's really going on is you're frustrated because you did not get your work done on time, and I can understand that. Would you like me to help you find out where that breakdown occurred so that we can fix it? If I were to say that, when you say this, it sounds like what you're really telling me is you're hurting, you're frustrated. This is a great word for work. When you say that it was my fault because that happened, it sounds to me like what you're really saying is that you feel overwhelmed by what's going on. Would you like me to help you find out where the breakdown occurred? And remember that at work, nothing is personal ever, 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 ever. If you take it personally, that's about you. And that's going to then start to release the drugs in your brain that are released when you need to either run real fast or fight real hard. Those are the last drugs you want being released in your brain at that moment. I could think of a lot I like, but not that. So remember to have strategies for listening ready. Ask clarifying questions. Say you're right. Make sure that your posture is where it should be. If you want to appear to be intelligent, but not too passive, don't tilt your head to the side. Know all of the little things. And by the way, I'm going to be doing a course about things like this starting at 0 for those of you who haven't been getting the results that you want or feel, I'm going to call it out. For those of you who feel like you're treated like crap at work or that you're invisible, or especially if you, for example, are my age and you're a woman, well, you're no longer valuable. What's with that? I'm a little less discounted than the women in my life simply because I'm a man. I think it's ridiculous, but you know what I mean? Where all of a sudden you have no value. Therefore, your words don't matter. People stop paying attention to you and start not just treating you as though you are invisible, they start actively ignoring you and find ways to let you know when, TikTok, when are you getting out of this joint so that I can take your spot and get your money? You know what? Nobody wants you here. You're not valuable. If you find yourself fighting against that, I have a new course. I don't know if you can, you've probably been looking at this the whole time. I didn't know. It's quantum communication, and it's all about, oh gosh, I can't even see. Speaking of, it's all about why we struggle with communication and what to do differently. And it is different. But if you want more information on that, there is a link in my latest video. I didn't have time to prepare for this video, but my latest one, you will find links right at the top for that. So check it out. I'm doing a 50% off sale, actually, flash sale. So that said, more information on the things that I'm talking about right now, you will find in that course, and you will find a link for it. Okay. So that said, remember that when we are talking to people in situations in which we feel uncomfortable, one of the most difficult things for people to do is exit that situation. If you can exit graciously, that is something that people will marvel at. And all you need to do to be able to exit a conversation graciously is know one single line. That's it. This is the one line. At any point during a conversation, if you want to, for example, gently interrupt somebody by tapping them on the arm and doing this, or by, in a group setting, saying it quickly and then leaving if you're not on the floor at the moment, Anytime you figure this is uncomfortable for whatever reason, I want out of here. Well, John, it was really nice seeing you. Okay. Have a great afternoon. Or, John, it was really nice to see you. Have a good evening. Whatever it is. Excuse me, guys. Pardon me. It was really nice seeing all of you, and I hope to see you again soon. Okay. Have a good afternoon. You're out of there. If you can say that to people, and remember, it just takes practice. John, it was really nice seeing you. Have a good afternoon, evening, rest of the conference. When you can do that, if you were to just, when it's time for you to say, or to go to say, excuse me, one second, John, it was really nice seeing you again. And I hope you have a great rest of the conference. Okay. Enjoy yourselves. And you bolt while somebody's going on going, man, and everybody else is stuck there because they don't know how to say that. Watch. They will come up to you afterwards and be like, God, you're so good at that. How'd you get so good at that? You can tell them where you got so good at that. But practice using closing lines, exit lines, transitional phrases, navigational phrases. You have to have them. I think I'm just about done with those particular things. Oh. Oh. Whoever the person is that you want to find you more magnetic, always when you greet them and you exit, physically do so. Meaning physically greet them, physically say goodbye. Right now I'm in Guadalajara, Mexico, a little south of Guadalajara on a lake. Everybody here is very touchy in Mexico, very touchy. I always forget when I go home, I'll kiss my doctor or kiss people and they'll be like, whoa, dude. But here it's natural to kiss people, to say hello and goodbye. We don't need to do that. But if when you greet people and you say goodbye to people, you take a moment not to do something obnoxious like squeeze their hand or pull them in or try to pull something that just makes people not want to greet you. If you, however you believe is their preferred way to touch, and don't tell me that people get offended when you touch, do it anyway. For every 1,000 people that you touch, one person will be like, oh, I was just so put off by it when he shook my hand. Don't worry about that. When you touch people, that creates a connection on a biochemical level that is going to set you apart from other people who generally do things like say, goodbye, I'll see you later. Hi. Don't do that. If you're sitting down to a table of 6 to 8 people, it only takes 30 seconds to shake the hand of each one and just walk around the table. Hi, good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Dan. Oh, I haven't met you yet. I'm Dan. Nice to meet you. Simple. Do that when you arrive and when you go. Have something to say before you open up your mouth. But clear out your rice bowl before you do so. Watch your body language. Make sure that you are open and ready to receive the message physically and mentally. And people will be so drawn to you. Remember, people are drawn to people not because of what the magnetic person says or does. It's because of how that magnetic person makes them feel. And if you make people feel as though you are seeing them, like I was talking before, this country is so ageist, at the US. And if you're the one who makes people who would normally be thought of as less valuable or less than feel as though, hey, I see you. I can see your value. It has nothing to do with something that, we can't do anything about, which actually is the opposite. Instead of being seen as more valuable because we have more experience, we're seen as less valuable because I guess the magazine industry told us that. If you're the one who lets people know, I see you, you're valuable to me. I'm going to spend time listening to you and getting to know you and valuing your ideas. I'm going to be present physically, mentally. I'm going to show you that I'm listening. I'm going to use words and phrases that show you I'm listening. You will be so magnetic. Remember, rule number 1 in the rules, I just came out with a book on Amazon. Check it out. It's called The Rules. Rule number 1 is speak less. If you speak less, the less you speak, the more magnetic you will appear to other people. If what you can do is draw them out of their shell, let them know that, here's the biggie, not only are you loving, but with you, it's safe. They are safe with you. They do not need to worry about being humiliated. They don't need to worry about fighting. They don't need to worry about being authentic because you create a safe space for them. If you do that, you will be so magnetic. Now, having said that, I wanted to answer a few YouTube questions. So if you have a question, I don't even know where to find them, but I will. Where am I going to find these? Okay, hold on one second. There is, where do I find this? Here we go. I got him. I got him. Hello, hello, Brian and Suzanne. Oh, wait a minute. Susie Sharp. Is that Susie Sharp from Fargo, North Dakota? Okay, hold on. I didn't even know I could do this. Where am I? Did I disappear? I think I disappeared. Okay. I don't know. I disappeared to me. Yeah, there I am. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing in case you didn't notice. Okay. So I'm going to read some of the questions that you have in a moment because I'm obviously just learning how to use this. What I am going to do in the meantime is I'm going to answer some questions right there on YouTube. Okay, so thank you all, by the way, for putting up with me while I was getting ready because I was just pressing buttons and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm live. Okay. All right, so if you do have a question, I also have to do 2 segments. I'm going to do Call Mom and I'm going to do Call Marty, my brother, because of course, who else would I call besides my friends, besides my family? I don't have any friends. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, community. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. Questions. I have not seen these. Oh, what am I going to do here? I have not seen these, so I'm just, so bear with me. Contains a question. Okay. Okay. Dan, I am German, and I laughed like a crazy person. I like it when people say that. When you talked about Rumpelstiltskin. Can you work on that pronunciation a bit? I will try. Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. How's that? And called him a difficult person. Tomorrow, I have to talk with the difficult person at work, a bully. Ooh, okay. I wish you the best of luck. And I'm here for some coaching on how to do that, how to control that in the best way and control myself as well. Your videos have helped me so much during the last months when things really started to get worse in the bossing and bullying. Thank you. I'm glad that I was of service. Okay. So you wanted specifically some help dealing with difficult people. Okay. With difficult people, the most important thing is to, number 1, go in with the right mindset. Whatever you say to me, and this takes practice, and I know that. Whatever you say to me, I have to come to the point where I understand it has nothing to do with me. Nothing. Every word that I speak is a testament to the person I believe I am and nothing more, nothing less. That's the same for you. So if you say something to me that's really difficult, that's just, now we all know this theory. That's just a reflection of how you really feel about yourself and something that's going on. That has nothing to do with me. But you're saying it here at work, and I have to, live in the mortal plane reality as well. So I recommend just what I talked about a moment ago, actually. When people are being toxic with you, if somewhere inside you have to have a personal compass. You have to walk into work knowing who you are, why you're there, and what you want. You have to have that written down. For example, I have my personal compass written down up here. Hold on. Where you can see it. You want to be able to see it. My personal compass. I am kind. No, I wrote this a long time ago. Where'd you go? I wrote this a long time ago, but it still is true because it will always be true if it ever was. I am kind, patient, forgiving, understanding, and compassionate. Forgiving, that's huge. I'm here to learn, love, and enjoy myself. I want peace, financial independence, and beautiful surroundings. Those 3 things don't change depending on where I am. If you don't have a personal compass, most people try to skip that step. That's why in my course, I don't let you do that. If you take a course with me, I will absolutely force you to do that, even if you think you will never use it, because you will. There's this sliver in time between event and response, and there will be a sliver in time between when that toxic person at work, hold on, what's your name? I forgot. Oh, rats, I don't know. There will be a sliver in time between what they say or do and how you respond to it. If you do not have something to reference during that sliver in time, what will happen is you will have a cycle. You will keep saying and doing the same thing that is your pattern. That's what we do. That's why we're trapped in Groundhog Day most of the time. And then sometimes we have this turning point, where after one of these experiences, you think, oh my gosh, I said or did something different. And it was as if a miracle occurred. It did. In that space, that sliver in time between event and response, if you want to create a miraculous instant, which will cause a turning point that will transform your path and put you on the right path so that from then on, you will be one step closer to actually reaching your destiny. Then you want to be able in that sliver in time to remember who you are. That's what it's all about. These moments between event and response, how I choose to respond to you has nothing to do with you. It's all about me. We know that theoretically, but how can I put it into practice so that the words that I speak are a reflection of me, not of you? That's the point of all of this. How can I put that into practice? Have a personal compass so that before I speak, I say to myself, wait a minute, I am kind. I'm here to enjoy myself and I want financial independence. Is what I'm about to say going to bring me a step closer towards those things or farther away from those things? Because if I have nothing to help me during those slivers in time, what I will end up doing is being a reflection of the toxic people around me. And I will keep cycling and cycling until I learn to choose differently. Because, we are a culmination of our choices. I have to recognize that when I choose incorrectly, first of all, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad. By the way, I'm so in love with Germany. I want to come back there soon. So let's find a way to make that happen. I was there not too long ago. Oh, it's a paradise. That said, if I let the other people in Germany dictate to me how I'm going to respond, basically telling me who I am, I'm going to reflect them, or I will transform my environment. There's principle number 1 in the 9 principles is there's no neutrality in the universe. Principle number 2 is you can't cast out darkness with more darkness. Those 2 principles, there's 9 principles. If I can remember, I can't be neutral. Like at the beginning, I talked about there's no neutrality in the universe. I can't just not talk about politics. That would be foolish. And I don't consider myself a fool. I have acted like it, but if I consciously know I'm going to ignore the things that are going on around me that really impact my life, such as politics, and I don't believe that we should be crazy about it, but I want to be aware of it. And the only way that I can be aware of it and take part in the process is to talk to people about the process. I want to know how to do it. And the way that I do it is I want to learn about what you think. And then if you ask, tell you about what I think without consequence. I'm not trying to change your mind. The point isn't to do that. The point is to commune with you. So if you walk into the situation, German lady, Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. I don't know how I'm supposed to. Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. That's it. Rumpelstiltskin. If I walk into that situation with the mindset correct, I know who I am. I know why I'm here, and I know what I want. You have to know that. If you do not know why you're there or what you want, you will be speaking out of fear. Even if they're being toxic, if they're being passive aggressive, that's coming from fear. They're afraid that you will find something in them that will then basically refage them. If you haven't checked out my new book, go to books.danoconnor.training.com. Books.danoconnor.training.com. The fajan is what we are stuck in, so many of us. We have been fajaned. We were so traumatized by something and now so fearful of having to relive that experience. We would rather bury the best of us and our own greatness. We would rather keep that in check than to let it out and face the possibility of being fajaned again. It's so painful, whatever this trauma is that we are suffering from, so many of us, not all of us, but you know who I'm talking to if it's you, that we just settle for mediocrity and live a life of quiet desperation, which is the saddest thing of all. I would rather fight every single day than lead a life of mediocrity, So, point is, when I speak, I have to know why I'm here, what I want, and I want to know who I am, what I'm here for, and what I want. Only then can I speak out of love instead of fear. So when that toxic person, whoever it is at work, Miss German lady, that is making your life miserable, remember, before you speak to her, it's your job to help her. If she's being trapped, spiraling down a vortex of bitterness, she might have just lost love. And you know what that's like. when we feel as though we have, when we're suffering from the illusion as though we have less love, that's when we really start to reflect that. And the words that we speak tend to be, we are, if you just like got dumped, or if you just found out that your partner's cheating on you or something like that, it's like we are at an all-you-can-eat buffet of bitterness, and we are going to stuff ourselves until we can stuff no more. We don't have words that are loving. She might be in that spot. I'm assuming it's a she. Help her. Genuinely ask her questions that are clarifying questions. Like I was mentioning before, Trixie, when you say that you like my outfit, if they're depending on what type of comments they're making, I do not know based on your question. If they're a sniper and they make comments like, "Hey, nice jeans, where are you going in those? Back to 1987?" Jan, when you say that you like my outfit, sounds to me like what you're saying is that you don't, but you just don't have the right words to express your opinions. Can I help you do that? Because I can take it. Do you need some help? Ask people, do you need help? It appears as though you do, because you're not being very loving. And that would be your natural state. If you are not doing that, something's wrong. Something's wrong. So that I don't get sucked into the fajan with you, I'm going to ask, before I go in there, please take my crazy thoughts out of my brain that I've learned and help me unlearn those. Put some new thoughts in there and help me see this through the eyes of love. Then the tactics that I can help you learn will work for you. But if you go in, a lot of people, they will come to me because they want to know some phrases that they can use to really make people at work pay for what they did. And I'm like, you could try. But every person that I meet will be my crucifier or my resurrector, depending on the person that I choose to be to them. And so if you are finding that this is happening quite frequently, ask yourself, who are you choosing to be to people? I'm not saying you are, German lady. Okay, hold on one second. Now, how did this, I feel like my dad, I've turned into Mr. O'Connor. Oh, I know he's saying, what is that supposed to mean? Right, Dad? No, I'm joking. Okay, somebody's disagreeing with me. To tolerate humanity when you see it is to become a party to it. Even Christ had, right? No, I am not a Christian. I don't have a religious affiliation. I have a lot of ghosts, to tell you the truth. And so I can't deny the fact that there's something going on. I just don't know what it is. I do not know. But somebody's disagreeing with me anyway. And they're saying that to tolerate inhumanity when you see it is to become a party to it. Even Christ had a righteous anger, and he didn't let those money changers in the temple get away with their immortal behavior, which is why, by the way, you don't have to disagree with me, because Chris Nam, if you look at my store and YouTube, you will see that the only merchandise I think I have available right now is merchandise that says, sometimes you got to overturn the tables in the temple, right? You have to. I know. I don't know what you're disagreeing with, but I'll have to tell you, if you believe that sometimes we have to do that, I agree with you. Are we talking about tolerating inhumanity? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Perhaps I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know if you're wrong. Maybe I did not present it correctly. But it seems as though someone is asking me to ignore the position of mega people. Oh, okay. Here's what I'm saying, Chris. I just did a video, if you didn't see it, about how to deal with the 50% of people who think from the opposite from the way that you think if you voted in this last election. 50% of people, I just found out, are insane. Or I am insane, and 50% of the people are sane, and I'm not among them. And what I said to do was, instead of looking to set them straight, which you will not do. If you've ever been in a cult, not that I have, but I've been very close to people who have been kind of, culty. More than that, moony culty. If you have ever been brainwashed or in a cult, you know that people who are coming to try and brain cleanse you, not possible. You close down to them. The only way we would open up to allow the possibility of letting somebody in to change our mind is if that person is loving and doesn't appear to be intending to cause me harm. And so what my position is to love that person who is, I don't know, I'm not going to look because I'm not sure whether I am not concerned for the sake of this conversation, how you voted, because it doesn't alter what I would suggest you do. If I think that you have lost your mind and have bought into some illusion, the best thing to do for you would be to treat you lovingly and help you remember who you are. Not, I don't have to teach you. I can't. I mean, why would I can't do that. You're my brother and sister. We come from the same place. I don't need to teach you. I can demonstrate. And to demonstrate to you who we are and where we are from, that means I can be loving to you and listen to you. Not just necessarily listen to you spew political rhetoric or hate speech. I'm not saying that. One of the most loving things I can do sometimes is to let you know you and I can't be together right now, and I'm going to go that way. Okay? Goodbye. That's sometimes one of the most loving things I can do. I don't mean you have to sit there and listen to people at all, but I have to be loving. I can tell you in a loving way that I'm going over there, and I can tell you why. I don't need to humiliate you or tell you that it's because of you. But if you believe that they are delusional, they've bought into the lies. If it were somebody that, let's say your son or your mother, one of those two things, somebody had brainwashed them and they were buying into the lie and now they were crazy, wouldn't you want to help them? I mean, if I were in that situation, I'm asking you all in advance, if you find me like, if I became a Mooney or something like that, Jim Jones participant, before I drink the final Kool-Aid, please come and help me. Please be loving with me or else I might really resist you. But that's what we would want to do. I don't understand the mindset of people who want to abandon people when they need us the most. If they are, let's say, addicted or have a substance abuse problem or have a mental illness or have been brainwashed. In those situations, people need us the most. The only chance I have of being able to help them, not show them, help them, is to be loving to them. And then they might open the door. Otherwise, that door is shut. Okay? So that's what I say. And you can think of it differently. That's okay. I still love you, whatever I still love you, Christian Manhattan. Okay. Not addressing the election. Hey, TD Hawk. TD Hawk 167. Not addressing the election, but our elephants. I remember your comment. And that's one of the reasons that I did this today. Thank you. Not all elephants, according to TD Hawk 167, and I agree. I believe you. Not all elephants who paint have been fajanned. I would like to know, however, what do they paint? And TD Hawk 167, I'd like to buy one of those and I'll put it up and advertise. If you have, she says that she has elephants where she works that paint paintings that were not fajanned. By the way, if you want to know more about that, go to the books, danoconnor.training.com, and you will see my latest book, The Fajan. It's in pre-release. It's not released yet, but you can still download the first chapter and everything. It's about the Fajan. I want to know, could I see your paintings? I'd like to see your paintings. And I'm curious, and I would love to help you. If you have like an elephant sanctuary that maybe takes and rehabilitates elephants, I'd be happy to partner with you and just, meaning send some of the proceeds your way so that we can help these poor elephants who were fajanned. Okay, hold on one second. Okay. It's a weak approach to be, this is for Tinta Don 2756. Okay. It's a weak approach to be a no-show for holiday gatherings. I know that. Well, I shouldn't say we, I don't know that, but I don't know what you mean. Maybe somebody else said something. The elephants don't have a choice and must perform despite the fajan. You can't just disconnect because you don't like what a family member has to say. This is childish and pouting. Take yourself out of the equation like that. That's right. You're not coming has fallout on a number of levels. It does. It affects more people than yourself. I agree. Maybe grandma would like to see her grandkids, but you can't get past a disagreeable uncle. So you just don't show up with your kids. I agree. It could be grandma's last holiday. Do you think that's the Christmas miracle? I'm just joking. Or a cousin that married a Muslim. And that person has issues with Christmas. I have met many Muslims. Never in my life have I met anybody who actually has a problem with Christmas. I see that talking point on insane propaganda networks. Just certain scenarios, but I don't think you're insane. Just certain scenarios could arise next year. I believe that. Making the disagreeing about an election at the dinner table seems so small and petty. I agree. I'm not here to spread negativity on the internet. You're not. But I saw that. But I sat through that elephant story only to receive poor and weak advice. Bottom line is you can't withhold. Okay, I see what you mean. Withhold your light because of fear of potential darkness. I agree. You're supposed to develop a thicker skin as you grow up and realize you are middle-aged and you might just not get your way once in a while, which is about the frequency that holidays happen. I'm not exactly sure who you were disagreeing with, because I agree with everything, every single thing that you said. I can't find anything that I disagree with. Except maybe you didn't like my advice. Well, thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. And please keep watching and telling me when you don't agree with me. That's okay. I really like that because I agreed with everything you said. So I'll try to come up with better advice next time. One more, and then I'm going to answer some of your questions live. Okay. How do you respond when you say, I don't allow XYZ, and the person replies, what are you going to do about it? Okay. If I think I know the video that you are referring to. If I say, for example, something at work, something such as, I don't allow myself to be talked to that way. I don't allow that type of language. When somebody says, what are you going to do about it? Very simple. Now, I think I qualified that. You have to be able to do this before you say this, but I'm going to just leave and walk away. Not like I'm leaving and pouting. I just mean, if you're going to insist on, let's say that you have lost your mind and you're going to sit there and in my environment be toxic and say toxic things or insulting things. I just told you I don't allow that. So yeah, I would get up and walk away. Simple. If you're sitting there and you have a line of customers, for example, I remember at Big Top Bingo, when people would get out of hand, it's amazing. If you shut your window so that not only that person, but everybody in the line behind them now has to sit and suffer because that person did something, that you could be amazed what happens at a bingo palace. If you do that, people know. They did say to that person, let's say that somebody was at my window and I was a cashier at the bingo palace, and they started getting out of control because they have spent all of this money and did not win anything yet, and they crossed the line. If I were to close the window and walk away, everybody behind them knows that wasn't me, that's this person, because I have a pattern. Everybody knows our patterns. I have a pattern of being reasonable. I'm thought of as a reasonable person. So if I tell you that person was being unreasonable and that's why I did that, you will believe me. If somebody has a pattern of being unreasonable, we don't believe them if we don't witness the event ourselves. But that's what you want to do. I don't have to fight with you, or I don't have to make it a big deal. But yes, if I say I don't allow something and you keep going, I would remove myself from that relationship, whatever that means to you. It could mean that I hang up. It could mean that I hang up. It could mean that I walk away. It could mean that I stop working with you, serving you. You have to do that, or people will not respect it when you say that. Okay, so never miss a comment. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's laughing. Oh, yes. Hi, Ms. Kim. Okay. I'm not. Hold on one second. Let me 27, 20. Okay. Thanks, Brian Holland. I'll have to try and get used to doing that. I'm glad. I'm not exactly sure I can't remember what I said. I don't know how long I've been doing this now. It's been 48 minutes. Whew, okay. When I converse with other people, but I believe you are correct. I'll try and work on that and be more physical. Thank you, Brian. Okay. Now let's go to who might talk. Okay. Hold on. Mike Tyson just killed Jake Paul. Did he really? Are you kidding? Did Mike Tyson kill somebody? Sonny Rosario? Interesting. Okay. I did my part with politics, but I take pride in the personal goal to be the one guy anyone can come to. Oh my goodness, Brian. Not only should you take pride in that, I thank you for that, being the one person that people can talk to without talking politics. Not to discount the importance that whatever is going on, if you believe it's important, then it is. However, there are many important things. And if you're the person that I can talk to sometimes to talk about other things, I would appreciate that too. That's what is part of a cycle. We all have these cliches, small talk phrases built up, especially in the workplace. It really jolts people, I bet, to actually break. Yeah. If you break through, I always tell people, if nothing else, authenticity is the most powerful thing you have. And if you lose your words, remember this, if you're on the spectrum, or if you're painfully nervous or shy or introverted, When you find yourself without words, number one, you do not have to respond to somebody simply because they chose that moment in time to ask you something or call you out or engage or challenge you. Just as people pre-select you to be nasty to, they pre-select the time that they will bring things up. They pre-select the environment in which they will bring things up. They pre-select the words that they will use when they are going to try and humiliate you or take you off guard or whatever it is that they're doing that's toxic. Just as they pre-selected all of that, do not feel ever, not ever, that you have to respond to somebody because they pre-selected you at that time, in that environment, using those words. If you ever need some time to respond, remember one of the most powerful things we can use is silence. And if you simply tell somebody, John, I am not sure how I feel about that. So I'm going to need some time to think about it before I respond to you. That's all you need to say. Broken record. Well, whatever they say back to that, well, that may be, but I'm still not sure how I feel about that. So I'm still going to need some time before I respond to it. Well, we need your answer now. I'm human resources, and we just brought something up and blindsided you in a group setting. We ambushed you. Well, I can see that, and that may be, but I'm going to need some time to think about this and decide how I feel before I respond to it. Why? You da 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 da. I understand that you found this to be the appropriate time and environment here at the holiday dinner table. However, I'm going to need some time to think about this to decide how I feel before I respond to you. Could you pass some of that white meat down here? I don't know why I said that. Oh, that's what I said in one of my dumb videos. Okay, hold on one second. I mean, the video, I don't mean to put down my own work. I just remember that was like a dumb comment that I made for humorous effect in a video. Okay, I did my part with politics. Brian, you are so engaged. I don't know I think I might just pass out if you were around. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to throw out there, I probably already disconnected. Am I still on? I don't know. You're an atheist and you loved Christmas. Brian, do I know you? Okay. The last thing I wanted to talk about is this. Why we struggle with communication. Okay. Check out the link that I will put here when this video is all done. If you're watching this live, I will not have the link ready for you. But when this is done, I'm going to put a link in the description to a new course that I'm doing. And the reason that I'm doing it is because I couldn't take it anymore. Almost all communication courses. Oh, I'm going to call mom. I have to call mom. Almost all communication courses are horrible because they treat communication skills as a soft skill. They are not. You learn them the way you would any other language skill. You have to have benchmarks. You have to be held accountable. You can be graded. Just like a regular English class, communication skills are the same. And I have a new course coming out. And what you have to remember is instead of learning communication skills, you have to unlearn them. So many of us have been trained to turn our backs on who we are when we communicate. And authenticity, as we were talking about, is impossible to achieve. And it's the number one thing that will make us magnetic. Okay, I'm going to call my mom because I think you get a kick out of it. Okay. Ooh.
Hello?
Hello, what are you doing? You're live on the air.
Well, isn't that special?
Yes. So I thought that everybody would enjoy getting an answer from mom today.
Well, that's good. I just happen to be in a smart mood. What do you need?
Well, I'm going to read you a comment from one of our viewers, and I'd like to know what you have to say.
Okay.
Okay. So, oops.
First of all, how did you know I would even be home?
Where else would you be? Outside my window again? Okay. Oh, this is an Olga? Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some viewer questions, and let's see if you have the same response as I would. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Is there money attached to this if I give the correct response?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How do you respond when you say, I don't allow XYZ, and the person replies with, what are you going to do about it?
Well, it would depend on the situation. If it were a business situation and it were possible for me to leave the room, I would say, I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. and I just turn around and walk out.
Were you listening when I said that? Are you cheating again?
No,
Okay.
no, and if it were a family member where I know I could walk out, I absolutely would. And I might add, you let me know when you're willing to speak to me in a civil manner, and then I would leave.
Okay, good. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to add to that, you could use the redirect with assumptions instead of just saying, what did you say? What did you say when you're ready to speak? What did you say?
I said, when you're ready to speak to me in a civil manner, let me know.
Let me know. Okay. We might want to sometimes tell people what the benefit is that they would get from acting the way we want them to act. When you're ready to speak to me in a civil manner, I'll be ready to continue this conversation. So then you at least let people know what you're ready to do. Just adding to that, not that your answer wasn't
It's true, but
fantastic.
your answer is normally wordier than mine. I
It
would just say,
is.
when you're ready to speak to me in a civil manner, let me know. And
Yeah,
I would walk out.
that is what you would say.
That
Okay.
is what I would say.
Okay.
And I believe I said it no, go ahead.
Okay. So, do you have any videos geared towards people on the autism spectrum? Scooby Snacks. See, I'm telling you, we're working on that. And by the way, my program Step Out of the Shadows and Speak, every person that has used it, I have classes that, class like 5th grade, 6th grade that use that as part of their curriculum. And whether you're on the spectrum or not, I find that very useful. But I kind of had that in mind when I made it. So just Step Out of the Shadows and Speak. Check it out. Okay. My friend loves going.
I would add this.
Yes.
Whoever wrote that,
Yeah.
if they write Jean, Jean,
Uh-huh.
DanO'ConnorTraining.com, and tell me that they want to purchase that because they're purchasing it for someone on the spectrum, I'll make sure they get a 50% discount any day of the week when I know it's for someone on the spectrum.
Oh, you just think you're so smart.
With your money. Yes, I am.
Good for you. Actually, that is what I should have said.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. How, and Mom, I haven't read this, so it could be kind of weird. How is it that coming to this channel, desperate for advice on how to handle a younger, less educated, less experienced, overstepping, narcissistic bully colleague, always ends up with laughing out loud hysterically in a way that only very few amazing movies manage to do? Oh,
I can give the answer to that, because when you started out, your mantra was no more boring training ever.
Oh, that is true. It
And
was.
you have always lived up to that. Education doesn't have to be boring. Now, I was a teacher and everybody was bored stiff in my class.
I don't think so. Nope.
Well, I just said that, so that you'd look a little better.
Oh,
But no, I think it is very easy to be light and to be amusing, and it does not dim education, it enhances it.
and also, how could they have been bored in your course? You were a nun and you were gambling and drinking in the back of the room. So I think people found that to be, at least novel.
You know that people
Okay.
believe you when you say these things, so you go right ahead.
Okay. I'm at the kind of workplace that would fire me for saying those exact things. They are also toxic. They consider this professional communication snark. I doubt it.
I would say this. Most people who write that
Uh-huh.
have never done it.
Right.
They've never done it. Now, I would ask that person, what happened when you did it? And their answer would be, well, I didn't. If you stand up for yourself, it's just amazing how people will go, oh, okay. They simply
Right.
don't anticipate it. And you say, well, it's a professional macho environment. Well, these are professional responses.
Yeah.
So, if they get you fired, you are absolutely in the wrong place to begin with. Then you better be out of there. Then, in other words, you're in some environment where somebody wants your fealty rather than your business acumen. So get the hell out of there.
Right. Great. Because I'm not sure what they were referring to, but anything that I would teach or that Jean would teach people to say is going to be all about that person, and it would be a professional, respectful thing. And that's true. We tend to think that we are saying something other than what we are actually saying over 50% of the time, which is why I recommend specific strategies instead of just winging it. And
Well, and yes, and I would like to add to that. When people stand up for themselves, they frequently think the other person, let's say a boss, the other person will take it as you're being impudent, and that might be true. Now, if they do, that means that you cannot stand up for yourself. Therefore, you're in the wrong place. Get out of
right.
there. If your boss cannot take a professional comment that is designed to protect your boundaries, well, then get out of there. And I think you'll find that most bosses are embarrassed when they're called out on unprofessional behavior because you are protecting your boundaries. Most bosses, good bosses, will think, "Oh, I really didn't mean to embarrass you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push you that way. I'm sorry." Those are the people that you want to work with.
Yeah, and that's it. Most of the time when we do call people on their behavior when they cross boundaries with us, we will inevitably find that they will come to us and say things like, "I am so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I didn't know." And they were actually your biggest fan. We just
Yeah.
projected onto them, putting chains on them that their behavior was because they wanted to do this. We don't know why somebody does, but if we call them on it, people in a professional way without reflecting their behavior, yeah, people inevitably come to us and respect us more than they did before. And if they don't, you will respect yourself more. And in turn, the universe will give you different opportunities. Because, Mom, I don't know about you. I'm done now. I have to hang up because it's been over an hour. Have you ever known anybody to be prepared for a situation that did not then come their way? Meaning, like somebody who was ready for a miraculous moment, or somebody who was prepared to take on tough challenges or to lead or to be somebody who makes a difference in the world, that then didn't get the opportunity to do so?
I can't answer that question because I don't have quite the spiritual depth that you do. I really don't. But I can tell you this, that my father always told me that that success is where preparation and opportunity meet. And in his life, he was always prepared. The opportunity came along, he seized it. He made all the difference in the world to well, to many people. But anyway, I looked at what he did, and this is all I can tell you. I'm not positive that for every single person that opportunity will come. But if you aren't prepared, well, then don't expect success. You have to be prepared. The opportunity comes, in other words, a little bit of luck, a lot of preparation. Those are the people, generally speaking, that are successful. And by the way, how do you get prepared? And what is the key thing you have to be prepared for? Communication. It just
Yes.
is. And incidentally, my father was one of the premier communicators of his time.
He
He
was.
knew how to speak, and that contributed to his success greatly. And that's what I learned. I hope I passed it to you, but I would say that you speak with a spiritual depth that I don't always recognize. So I can't say to you, yes, if you're prepared, the opportunity will come. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I agree with you. I can't say that as the truth, but I can tell you I have never known anybody who I have met and thought, "God damn, where are you going? You are you obviously are going places that did not then go places." I've never met anybody who studied to be a doctor and was committed to it and never became a doctor or never practiced. I mean, have you ever known anybody personally to be exceptional and prepared for something big that never came?
I can't say
Besides you.
I can't say that I have ever noticed that. I have simply noticed the reverse. I don't know if it's exactly
Right.
the reverse, but
Yes.
I know that if you are not prepared and that opportunity comes, A, you may not recognize it, and B, you may not have the tools to seize it.
Right.
So your best bet is to first of all analyze your own abilities. I had a nun tell me that in eighth grade. Uh, I was about to go into home ec in high school or some damn fool thing, which is fine for some people, but I don't know how to cook an egg. Anyway, she said, Jean Marie, you the first thing you have to do yourself a favor, analyze your own skills and abilities. If you recognize what you're really good at, you have a leg up then on what you should be aiming for in life. If you don't recognize your own abilities, if you don't know what they are, you really don't know the direction to take and you'll be floundering. But it's a first step. Figure out what you're good at and go for it. And then be prepared so that as opportunities come along, you can seize them. And again, success is where opportunity presents itself and you're prepared. Preparation, opportunity, that's when you're going to be successful. But you better start with figuring out what you're really good at and what you like. And
Thank you. Thank
they're
you.
generally the same
That's
things.
enough. Thank you very much. And I'm
And I
sure
like
tell
you,
your
Tim,
nurse
and I was really
that
good
I
at
told you
making
that it's time for bed. And that's it. And I'm sure when you're talking about the leg up, I'll explain that story during the adult hour later. Thanks for this is a family show. I gotta go. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. And if you, by the way, I guess it's time to stop. If you if you have not yet done so, check out. If you watch this during what is today, the 15th? The 15th and 16th, I have a 50% off flash sale. Anything in the store at DanO'ConnorTraining.com. And if you go to books.DanO'ConnorTraining.com, you can download your free bundle, bundle. And please, if you by the way wanted to participate in being part of the launch team, please sign up there. Or you can just download your free bundle. If you like things like paint by numbers or coloring books, activity books for the kids, you can get a whole. You get an audio, you get an activity book, you get the first chapter, you get all sorts of stuff that you can use starting today to have more meaningful conversations with your kids. If you struggle with that, I do. So I like tools that help me do that. If you like those too, download that at books.DanO'ConnorTraining.com. Go to, if you like it's the flash sale code, because I just mailed it out and I didn't provide it anywhere else, is Flash 2024, I believe. Yeah, Flash 2024. Holy moly. Is that it? I believe so. And you can use that in our store for 50% off of anything this weekend only. So thank you all very much. If you enjoyed this, check out the video that will pop up here and you'll really like that too. And remember that no matter what you have to say, there's nothing we have to say that we can't say in a loving way. So do that. And by doing so, we will transform the world one conversation at a time. I'll see you next time. Be loving to one another.